Hello, my name's Dale Thomas. Welcome along to the Wedding Help NI podcast. It is, of course, the largest online platform for wedding couples. It's Wedding Help NI. You can get us on Facebook or, of course, our website, www.weddinghelpni.com. It's episode 6. My guest today is Claire from Groom The Groom.
Hi.
How's things, Claire?
Really good. How are you?
I'm all good. I'm all good. So, Claire, Groom the Groom, where did it all start? How did you become Groom the Groom, or where did that all come from?
So, Groom the Groom, it's actually been in the making for quite a few years. I just didn't understand how far it was going to go. So, Groom the Groom was launched in 2024. The beginning of it. Now, I got married in 2023. And I had a supplier within Wedding Help that helped me get ready the morning of my wedding.
Oh.
And I thought, this is amazing. Is there anyone that can do it for the men?
But you know what? I think honestly, I think it's an amazing business what you're doing. You've found such a niche in the market with Groom the Groom. It's something a bit different. So even taking us back, you started Groom the Groom. So you're quite new to the business.
Yeah.
Before that, obviously, you were barbering and you were doing it. You're working in salons and stuff, and then you came across that Groom the Groom, and you thought there's a business opportunity.
Yeah, so I seen a gap in the market whenever I was getting married myself. And the more I think about it, for the clients that were coming into the chair in my salon, I was going out to their house the morning of the wedding. And yes, I was going to do a haircut, but in the background, I was sort of working out the chaos and bringing it to the cam.
Aye.
And that's whenever I really noticed in my own wedding that there is a market for it. And there's so much value that I bring of making sure that there's no stress. You know, there's been houses I've went out to just to cut their hair before Groom the Groom was developed. And I had one of the grooms put his shirt on and go, "What do you think of that?" Straight out of a packet with factory creases. And I thought, where's the iron? Where's the iron? You know, and started helping them out.
Yeah.
And then whenever I got married myself, so whenever I started putting a structure into it, and I thought, that's whenever Groom the Groom was launched.
And I suppose as well, like we were talking about this before we went on air, hair and makeup for ladies is so important. You know, it's like literally, you know, even on the Wedding Help platform, you know, I would say every 10 comments is a comment of hair and makeup. Who do you recommend? Hair and makeup. Who do you recommend? You're offering that service for the man, they look the part. So tell us, how does the day start? Where do you start on the day?
So depending on where they're getting ready, I would go out to either their house or the hotel, B&B, anywhere that the groom's leaving from and the groomsmen.
Yeah.
With me being an award-winning barber, that's where I'm able to do a haircut the morning of the wedding and gives that extra attention to detail.
Yeah.
So that they look their best. You know, as you said, the bride and the bridesmaids, they all have their hair and their makeup done, and it's such a big thing for the wedding on how they look. But man's normally often left to their own devices as opposed to not forgot about, but while they're away getting all of that done, the man's normally in the house worried about how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that, or else there's another family member on site trying to help out as well.
And then sometimes, like, you know, I know even like, you know, this I'm saying this as a man, we sometimes just go, that'll do the job. Do you know what I mean? We take that attitude of, that'll do the job, that's all good, I'll just do this and do that. But like, it is such an important day because there's going to be photographers, videographers following you about that entire day. So, you know, the bride will look absolutely amazing. She'll have her hair done. There might even be a hairdresser on that day that comes along to redo the hair in a different shape. The makeup will be sitting perfect. You know, everything for the bride for these photos, but the groom, there's nothing there. Like, so having that nice haircut, and it's more than a haircut. What you're offering is so much more than a haircut. You know, it's making sure, you were saying there about a creased shirt, so it's making sure that the groom really does look the part on the day and looks respectable for them photos. Isn't that right in what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's to give them their confidence as well. You know, see, whenever you're confident and you're looking good, you're feeling good, especially with all those pictures that you're going to have in your forever album. You know, if you have, as you say, just, you know, it'll do, throw the shirt on, yep, happy days, yep, look good. And then whenever you've got a photographer, videographer, content creators now that are following you about, you want to feel your best, and that's
so
what
important.
I can deliver.
It's so important. Now, you also have salons as such.
Yeah.
That people can go to. There's 2 salons, is that right?
So I have one in Lisburn and my husband has one in Ballinhinch.
Yep.
Under the brand of the Barber's Den. Now we also do pre-prep for the Groom and Groom's party, so the men can come in a couple of days before for a haircut, hot towel shave. And to be honest, through my career in the industry that I'm in, I've also went down the route of the sneaky eyebrow wax, and wee nose wax, and and now stay with me on this. I've done manicures on men before, but not in depth of where we think we're getting nail polish out and doing French. Nothing like that. The likes of a mechanic or someone that's working with their hands all the time, it's really important to get that shot with the ring on your wedding. And you want to make sure that you're clean, tidy, presented. And it's difficult to get like the likes of oils and that stuff out of your hands yourself unless you have someone who knows what they're doing behind it.
But you never think about that, or you never think, like that's a great thing there that you're saying about the ring shot for the man and stuff. It's so important as well. This stuff that's going to be in your album, like, so it's going to be something that's there forever. They looked at your children's going to look at it. So I suppose having that bit of pampering. So you're saying that they could come along to your salon, and your salons is Lisburn and Belfast.
Ballinhinch,
sorry, Lisburn and Ballinhinch. Would you suggest like all the guys, booking if they book an appointment, or what way does that work?
Definitely would need to book in for an appointment like that, because there's so much time that's involved, especially if there's more than one person. Now, I have also noticed the bride does normally gift this because, as I say, they're having spray tans, hair, makeup, all the trials and everything else. And the man normally just does get left to their own device, or, I'm sure he'll be all right. And it is a nice gift that they do. Yeah. So time-wise, it's a couple of hours in the salon, but it's also a time for the groom and the men to bond together, to have the crack and carry on as well.
That's a good thing as well. Like, to be honest, I know, from getting married, although I'm doing a podcast here, like my wedding day, I'm happy enough to say I literally showed up on the day. I had nothing to do with any planning, and I know loads of vendors, but there's the men don't have that. But that camaraderie, that getting together, lads getting together. It's I'm not saying it's like a stag party, but that bit of fun just before the wedding, having a bit of a laugh. So that's a good thing to do as well, coming along to the salon. But I also like the thing of on the day. I think that's a brilliant service you offer on the day to make sure things are right and make sure it's all going well as well. Will you travel far with that, or do you keep on around the County Antrim sort of
County
Down
over.
Location, or you'll go all over
all
to
over
do
the
that?
north and south, and I'm open to flying anywhere too.
If
we anyone
all
looking
are.
abroad?
Do you know what? I was lucky. I done one wedding last year in Italy, and I loved it.
Class.
So that was brilliant. So so we're always open to anybody wants to book us for any abroad weddings. We are open. We're here. We'll do it. So but no, that's the thing. So you don't mind travel, and you're happy enough to travel. So what's the furthest you've travelled for? To do like a man's hair and get them ready for the morning?
So far, the furthest I've been has been Donegal.
There you go.
And
do you know, like I'm from up around that direction, and you hear nobody. Like I've heard nobody with a similar sort of, doing, like, there's lots of even bridal prep sort of people going, like doing bridal, sort of getting them ready in the morning and getting them obviously there's hair and makeup, but even getting the bride sort of ready, making sure everything's sitting the way it should sit. There's loads of that, but I haven't heard of any for men. It's...
So I also do flat lay as well for a man. So that they're shot in your wedding album of you've got the dress hanging and all the dresses, and then we've got a suit, and then the suits, and and especially all the other wee gifts that the groomsmen have got as well. I like to set it out as a flat lay for that photograph. But I also can stay all day with the groom, as you were saying about, sometimes you would have a lady on site that's sorting hair out in the background.
Or even just looking after the bride on the day. So you're doing the same sort of thing.
It's like invisible hand holding for the reassurance that everything they're doing is perfect, to make sure like their dicky bow's still where it is, their tie's sitting, that the groomsmen are standing in well for the pictures. So if the groom has his cuff out, the groomsmen have their cuff out, because you don't want to get your wedding album back with one cuff up, one cuff out. It's the very fine details that can get overlooked. But whenever you get your wedding album back, you don't want to go back and go, I wish I had a...
And do you know what? Sometimes even a photographer can be under pressure and miss them things as well. So having that extra eye, and if you know that is your thing to keep an eye for, it's your main thing you're going for, like, and you're finding it and you're fixing it as such,
So I've managed to get great friendships with photographers because they're able to keep to their timeline, because they're not, I don't want to say wasting time, but having to go extra and repositioning and moving about, and it's eating into what they are needing to get caught on camera for what they've discussed with their couple. So it means then I'm making sure that everything's running the way that it's intended to.
Yeah. And for the online presence and all, just touching this, then we'll probably move on. But online presence, where can people find you? I suppose if you're working under the salons or working under one name, and then is Groom the Groom nearly like your separate sort of thing just for grooms?
So within my barber salon is whenever I develop Groom the Groom. Yeah. So you can find me, Groom the Groom, on Instagram and Facebook, but you can also contact me via the barber's den as well. Yeah. And within my hair salon, I also do hair loss clinics for men. Right. So they're non-surgical solutions to prevent anyone having to, outside and get hair transplants done.
Tell us a bit more
that's
about
extra.
that. Even for couples and they're getting married and stuff. Is that something like how far in advance would you need to be looking into that sort of thing? I know it's a big thing, and even with male hair loss and stuff. Tell us, give us as much insight on that, I suppose, for even people listening or maybe thinking, do you know what, that could be great for my partner or whatever. So
the reason why I touched into that is just recently the last couple of couples that I've been speaking to didn't realise that was me that was doing that as well. Yeah. It's to help with the confidence, like the likes of people that are suffering baldness, so that in their photographs they're not worrying about certain angles that are being taken or anything like that. So the process is, whenever you come in, you'd have to have a consultation. Normally takes in around half an hour, and then I would suggest that you come back 4 weeks later to have it applied.
And for a man, do you know what, I'm giving this as my sort of thing as well. Can you give me an insight even into, are you like shaving the head, or what way does that work and sort of thing, just to give us an insight on it? I suppose if a man as well, if we're going to do like a job or something, so if you're working on a balding site, you're going to go on that balding site and, what do you do to your hair? And you're going to have all them questions. So what way does that work, the non-surgical?
So it's a skin-based system. So you remove the hair that's on the head. Now, you don't have to fully do that. So it depends on where the balding is that you want to achieve. Because with you saying about how do you go into a building site and then all of a sudden, what's happened? There's something different here.
Yeah, and do you know what? Men, banter, that sort of banter, but as well, I suppose, it's a kind of anything else. Like, men's going to be thinking, oh, I don't know about that, because it's something that's
they may feel embarrassed about it. So I can make it grow with you, so that we just don't go from, oh, we've had nothing and now we've got everything. Yeah. So I would start off with, depending on where the most baldness part is, then we can start off with a small pace, and then each maintenance that you can come back, then we can go further and further in so that it starts to fill out, as opposed to nothing to something. But to be fair, a lot of men go with from nothing to something because they want instant results. They don't want to wait, and most men do not care what other people say because of the confidence it gives them once they have it done.
And for a bride watching this, how sort of far in advance, if they talk to their partner, maybe their partner talk to them maybe about going and doing some treatment like that, how far in advance before the wedding would you sort of recommend that to build up to the wedding or whatever? Or?
A minimum of 12 weeks, so that you're very aware of how it works and how things are going, so that we can adapt, so that on the big day there's nothing to be thinking about, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens. It's all being covered and done. And
you can look after all the sort of aftercare then and that and stuff. Yeah. So that's all part of it. So tell us, Claire, what do you do in your spare time? How do you relax after all this wedding stuff going on? Or how do you relax from it all?
So relaxing for me is hanging out with my kids.
Hanging out with your kids,
Yeah, I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and whenever I'm not in the salon cutting or at weddings or, socialising with, networking, I really love just taking the kids out and doing what they want to do, like going to the zoo, hanging out at the farm. At that age, it's very exciting to see animals, and I just let them suggest on what we're doing on their days off.
Ah, perfect. And you love travelling as well. You're like myself, love travelling. Yeah. Any holidays planned or anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to Mexico with the kids. First long haul flight. Can't wait.
Oh, lovely.
I don't know. I can't wait for the holiday, but I can wait on the flight.
How many hours is the flight to Mexico? How many?
I'm going to just assume that it's between 8 and 10. I'm not sure, and I don't actually want to know the answer to that.
My goodness, 10-hour flight. 10-hour flight. Do you know what? The only thing of flights now, there's plenty on house entertainment sort of thing.
So plenty of power packs.
There's movies, so watch the movies. No, perfect. How have you found of course, you're award winning because you've won an award at the Wedding Help NI awards. So you're award winning. How have you found the platform, Wedding Help NI?
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. All the brides and grooms that come through the page is excellent, especially for myself whenever I'm chatting to them. Like, I try to give like recommendations through my experience as well, through my own wedding. So whenever anyone asks any questions, I always do my best to advise on the knowledge that I know.
I think that's good as well. Do you know, because obviously with yourself, you're making I always think like hairdressers and even barbers and stuff, you're making a real connection with somebody. There's a real trust thing there. So even to talk to them then about all offenders stuff, or even telling them about the Wedding Help page. So you found it good for your business.
Yeah.
And I think you're very lucky because I don't think there's anybody else sort of on the platform that's doing anything similar to what you're offering, so it's something really different. So your socials, Claire, where can people find out about Groom the Groom? You have a website, isn't it? groomthegroomni.co.uk, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And your social media, is that all Groom the Groom, is that right?
Yeah, and it's on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
I think that's always good as well because couples can go on and they can see you have lots of work up there as well and stuff you've done as well, so that all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because you're able to actually visually show a couple what it is you're doing as well, because it's hard. Some people don't fully understand what it is that I do. They're like, oh, right, okay, so you come out in your iron shirt and do the hair. So much more than that, and you can see it on TikTok.
I think your service is probably, it's a bit like mine, we're not traditional sort of wedding, because the ladies always think hair and makeup so important. Never is that thought about the groom, or it's the same as like even I stand at wedding fairs, and they'll walk past and I go, a hypnotist, and I always find even the older mullers and stuff will look, oh, you don't want a hypnotist, and then they see the videos and they're all right, that's so that's so much fun. But same with yourself, if they actually see the value in it, it's something that's so important, to your day, so that is really good,
And not only that, like nowadays, like a lot of men are committed to their barber, so they don't want someone new cutting their hair. And I totally understand that, and so relatable, because with the clients that come into my own salon, I see that. But what I do as well is, the morning of the wedding, I'm looking at your haircut through how a photographer would look at it, for how it's going to display in your wedding album. You see, whenever you visually see it in the here and now, perfect. But what does that look like under a photograph, and behind a camera? There's certain lines that can show up, and only through my experience of working in the barbering industry that I am now aware of what that looks like whenever you take a photograph. So I'm able to take lines like that out so that you do get the best pictures. I find a lot of mummies would buy this as well, this service for their little boy. Like, I'm a boy mummy, so later down the line, whenever my boys get married, I want to get those precious moments with my son. So that's why I can see a lot of mummies do buy this service, so they can get those precious photographs.
And perfect. I think if we touched on everything, is there anything else you want to touch on? You're happy enough? We've got everything we need. So there we go. That is episode 6. It's Claire from Groom the Groom. Well done, Claire. Let's hear it for Claire. Woo! Thank you so much. Bye for now.